Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Atascocita BizCom. I am Drew Gutierrez, and I have the pleasure of serving as Harris County MUD 152 Director and this year's Chairman of the Atascocita BizCom. I am so glad that you have chosen to spend part of your day with us. And to start, we're going to start out with our prayer and pledge by Pastor Cameron Whitley. Pastor.
The pastor is muted.
And there's no video. It won't let you.
The host has stopped it.
Yeah, that's the host. Stop it. Send it off.
2021, we're working through some technical difficulties. Pastor, come join us over here, Pastor. Thank you. Appreciate y'all's help.
Well, good morning. Would you join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the pledge to the state flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Would you join me for prayer? Yeah, we thank you for today. And I think oftentimes we can say that phrase and take for granted what we actually mean. God, we thank you for the gift that you've given us of life. We thank you for the gift that you've given us to use our heart, soul, mind, and strength to honor you, to love you, and to serve you. So God, would you help us to be the best stewards possible of the gift that you've given us? And so when we use our minds to be smart and creative, to think up and to apply the gifts that you've given us. God, maybe we use our strength to serve not only you, but others, our community, those that we love and that we care for and know, and those that we've never met before, but yet we know are being impacted. God, we thank you for the way that you have used this community to serve when people are in need. Thank you that there were many opportunities from this past week and this winter storm for many to step up and to be generous with their time and their talent and their treasure. God, help us when we see needs to be the bridge that fills the gap. God, we love you. We thank you for today. And we thank you that through Jesus Christ, we have hope in eternity. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Whitley. Just a couple of housekeeping rules for our Zoom guests. You will notice that you are muted, and all of the guests will remain muted throughout the program. If you have any questions or need of assistance, please use the Q&A function located at the bottom of the screen. If you are joining us through Facebook Live, drop your questions in the comment section, and we will try to address those as they are coming in. Thank you. I'd like to start off by presenting our co-sponsor, co-presenting sponsor, Mr. Jess Fields Jr. with Rosewood Funeral Home and Cemetery. Jess.
All right, am I unmuted? I'm still not good at Zoom, but listen, I want to start off by saying, we've been a sponsor of BizCom forever and will continue to. We appreciate the work that Partnership Lake Houston does in the community. This last week was, as many of you know, unbelievably difficult. And I want to thank publicly, although they may not hear it, as they may not see this video, but I want to thank our employees and their families who so graciously volunteered their time and their efforts to help one another and to help others in their neighborhoods and in our community during this time. I know that was probably the case for a lot of folks, but our business really stepped up. Our people are always excellent with community things, and it was astonishing how much people stepped up to the plate to help each other, and I'm so grateful for that, and know how much importance is placed here in the chamber on that, making sure that we help those around us. On a slightly lighter note, you may notice behind me is a lovely cremation garden that we have at Rosewood that I'm always entreating you to come out and visit. Of course, I'm not actually there; it's a background, but it is a beautiful and wonderful section for the many people that have cremated remains from a loved one in their home, but don't have a place to bury them. And you probably know somebody like that, and maybe that's you. There's nothing quite as nice as being able to put someone to rest in a place that you know is always going to be perpetually and nicely maintained. And so we encourage you to come out and see it. And very soon we'll be breaking ground. We'll be opening our new cremation chapel, which is really astonishing. We're going to have the Chamber Partnership Lake Houston come out. We're going to invite all of you guys to come out and join us for that. And we'll be announcing that very soon. But again, our condolences, prayers, thoughts are with everybody that was affected this last week. And of course, if you ever need anything, you're welcome to reach out to us. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Jess. We have a lot of knowledgeable panelists to cover a multitude of topics today. Today's panelists include Mike Miller, Vice President with Ashlar Development, to share with us about the Groves, the growth and development, and featuring additional information on the Glade, their new commercial space. Ms. Michelle Carahan with Harris County Public Health, Philip Garland, with TxDOT to inform us about the FM 1960 expansion project. Dr. Liz Fagan, Humble ISD, providing us news and updates with the school district. Brian Ruth, Senior Director of Land Development with McCord Development and Chairman of the Partnerships Transportation Committee. Jenna Armstrong and Mark Mitchell, Partnership Lake Houston, to provide information on the merger. And Corey Turner will be giving us his insight into the Run, Walk, Discover Lake Houston, formerly known as the Lake Houston 5K, 10K. We'd like to recognize our sponsors. As always, we depend on our business sponsors to make a program like the BizCom available for our members and our Greater Lake Houston area community. Our presenting sponsor, Memorial Hermann Northeast, Rosewood Funeral Home. Gold sponsors, HEB Atascocita, JLA Realty, Amanda Petrie, McCord Development, Generation Park, Whataburger. Our silver sponsor, KNS Sportswear. Thank you all for sponsoring Atascocita BizCom and the partnership. If your business is interested in being a sponsor, please contact the Partnership Lake Houston office. Your sponsorships enable us to help businesses recover and succeed. Now more than ever, small businesses need a little help, resources, and guidance the partnership provides. If your business was not negatively affected by the pandemic, please consider sponsoring a program. Kicking it off to our co-presenting sponsor, Memorial Hermann. Starting things off for us will be a video by Justin Kendrick with Memorial Hermann Northeast.
Good morning, and welcome to Partnership Lake Houston's virtual BizCom. Memorial Hermann Northeast is proud to provide support as a co-sponsor for this session. It's certainly been a challenging start to the new year, with what surviving an ice storm in the midst of an ongoing pandemic and I hope that each of you personally and professionally fared well and managed to stay safe during this time of severe regional winter weather. And my thoughts are with those who continue to be adversely affected by the aftermath of the storm. Despite the unprecedented circumstances, one thing that continues to linger is COVID-19. Although I'm pleased to say that the declining numbers of COVID-positive patients across the Memorial Hermann system has allowed us to ease our visitation restrictions just a bit. We are currently allowing an adult visitor per patient per day at acute care facilities, and all visitors are still required to clear a health screening and wear a surgical mask provided upon entry into the facility. Of course, we will continue to monitor the impact of COVID-19 on Greater Houston and within our facilities, and will further modify our visitor policy as appropriate. We'll continue sharing the latest developing information on our website at www.memorialhermann.org/coronavirus and through Memorial Hermann's social media channels. I'm so proud to say that Memorial Hermann has administered well over 100,000 vaccines, with many of those vaccinations occurring at our drive-through clinics at various locations around Houston. It's because of the exceptional hard work, passion, and collaboration of our healthcare heroes that we're able to distribute as many vaccinations as we have, and we are forever grateful to them for their dedication and commitment to the health of our communities. Before I share a sneak peek into the vaccination events, please know that Memorial Hermann is actively working to expand capacity, and we look forward to making the vaccine available for additional patient populations and members of the community as soon as possible. Thank you for being with us every step of the way. We appreciate your partnerships and have no doubt that we can navigate these uncharted waters with grace, empathy, and resiliency.
Thank you, Justin. Next, I'd like to introduce Mike Miller, Vice President of Ashlar Development, to tell us more about the Groves and their exciting new commercial development called the Glade. Mike, you want to give us some secret information today? Please share.
We'll see what we can give you. Hold on, let me share my screen here. Morning, everyone. I believe my screen is up now. So again, Mike Miller here with Ashlar Development, VP of Houston for us. Most of you know the Groves community located off Westlake Houston Parkway and now also off Woodland Hills Drive. We made that connection a couple years ago. So I'm here to talk to you about the Groves in general, and then our commercial center called the Glade at the Groves. So first, just looking at 2020 success, we saw over 400 home sales last year and an amazing record pace this year. We're about halfway through with almost 1,100 homes occupied out of 2,200 total. And then just some awards we took home last year to highlight a couple. We took home GHBA's Rec Center of the Year for the Hearth. If you haven't been out there, we welcome you to come check it out and take a look for yourself. And then we also were finalists for a number of awards, as well as we became a National Wildlife Federation certified wildlife habitat, which is pretty neat in itself. And then also took home the Houston Galveston Area Council Parks and Natural Areas Award special recognition as well. And so that adds on to our ever extending award list for the Groves. We won many awards out there, including the North Houston Association's Quality Plan Development Award, as well as many GHBA awards and some other awards. We were Developer of the Year a few years back, Rec Center of the Year, Master Plan Community of the Year finalist, just to name a few. We were also featured in Builder and Developer magazine this year, which is quite an accolade to add to our growing list there. This is a very prominent magazine within our community, and it's a very much an honor to be featured within that magazine, talking about developing a neighborhood and getting outside as our themes within the community. As everyone did, everyone had to pivot during this trying time during this pandemic. We did the same. We actually released on March 30th, I believe it was, a virtual map of the community where you can tour the community at the leisure of your own couch, and through almost 50 different touch points, really physically get in there and see what the community has to offer from the safety of your own home. And that's been a really good feature for us, and has driven a lot of web traffic to our community, which translated into sales. Preservation is a key component to us. We're all about preserving those trees and reforestation, creating wildlife habitat for our nature friends as well. And so it's a really important feature, and we've got a new page on our website that talks about that in case you're interested to learn more. So this is the land plan of the Groves. I'll kind of take you through what's going on. As you can see, we're plowing our way from east to west. So we'll concentrate most on the west side. I'll give you a little bit of residential, but primarily stick to commercial here. So on the west end, that's Woodland Hills Drive going north-south, and that's Madera Run Parkway going east-west there to acclimate you a little bit there. This past year, we developed what's called the field. This is a soccer field with a baseball backstop on it as well for our residents to ride their bikes or drive over and enjoy some outdoor activities. We also developed Mini Groves, which is actually one of the Parks of the Year finalists for GHBA and a couple other organizations as well. And this park is actually a toddler version of the community as a whole. So we've taken our iconic elements at the Groves, like our entry board form concrete feature, our entry tower, our fish camp, Madera Creek, etc. We've turned them into toddler playground form. So you can see the entry wall there with the Mini Groves, almost those refrigerator magnet letters with mini spelled out. And looking at a different aerial view, you can see our entry tower turned into that slide tower there in the background of this picture here. Our Madera Run Parkway, our major thoroughfare, turned into a trike track for our little residents to enjoy. We've even down to miniaturized signage out there for that trike track. And our fish camp is kind of this fenced-in toddler play area with Madera Creek represented in blue there. Just a couple closer up shots of that. We've got a Matchbox car track actually coming off that slide tower as well, which is a really neat feature. And then you can see the miniaturized signage that replicates the signage we have within the community. We also expanded Madera Creek to its final form. We brought that almost all the way to Woodland Hills Drive, continued our miles and miles of trails along not only that, but within the community as a whole. We'll put up some trail signage, some unique elements along the way, and obviously reforested as we go. So this is actually our stormwater conveyance channel that's turned into an amenity creek here. And then we also delivered canopy at the Groves. So this is we worked with Toll Brothers on this and brought Toll Brothers out to the Northeast. I don't believe they've ever built out in the Northeast. So we brought them out here in this exclusive gated section and labeled it Canopy at the Groves. And this is a really unique section. It's got its own beer garden style park called the Yard. And the Yard Park has numerous features to it. It's got a bocce ball court, ping pong. It's got cornhole as well with festoon lighting coming across. And whenever we develop these amenities, we keep activation in mind. So our lifestyle director plans over 100 events for the community as a whole, but this particular section gets its own exclusive events. So they have quarterly events that may include craft beer tasting or wine tasting. There's a little root beer garden for the kids, so they might enjoy some root beer floats out there. And then we just are finishing up this new park called the Nest. And this is a park that has a nest-like feature for children to explore and really see what it might feel like to be within nature up in the tree canopy as well. And then also that same park has soccer pool, which is a pretty neat amenity that we're bringing to our residents. And hopefully the teens out there enjoy this one. And then, as I mentioned, the Glade at the Groves. This is our new exciting commercial development that we're making some headway on. Hopefully I'll have more to share in the coming months and years on this project, but we've got some exciting stuff that's already transpiring out there. So first, in the foreground there, you can see Westlake Church. Pastor Cameron Whitley and his organization purchased 8-acre site out at the Groves. This is Woodland Hills Drive looking south towards the Beltway. So they purchased an 8-acre site out there, and it's been a pleasure to work with them through that process. And they'll hopefully be building a campus here soon out at the Groves. You can see down in the background there, Pavilion at the Groves. We worked with Martin Fine Interest, and I'll show another view of that, but Martin Fine Interest on a luxury multifamily community out at the Groves. And then kind of in the middle there is where Madera and Parkway ties into Woodland Hills Drive. So you can see we've got a lot of acreage still left to work with. This is another view of Pavilion at the Groves. It's about 318 units. It's got its own luxury resort style amenities within it. And then what's also neat is this transaction also included a 4-acre drill site. And so that 4-acre drill site over to the left of this picture will be preserved with trees. And Martin Fine Interest has plans to develop trails through that for their community residents, which is a really neat feature for them. And then Williams Gully in the background there provides a nice backdrop for the north end of that project. This is a rendering of their clubhouse. It's nearly, I think it's almost complete at this point. They were working on the interiors this past week and the entry monumentation there as well. And then also not directly located on the west end of the Groves, but kind of in the heart of the Groves, right near Groves Elementary and Westlake Middle School, is a new Kiddie Academy facility that they just completed and are opening as we speak. So this is a really nice facility for Kiddie Academy to bring out to our community, and it's right next to the elementary school, so parents can enjoy a nice leisurely walk to take their kids to now daycare, elementary school and middle school right down the street. And this is a rendering of what that looked like. I didn't have a good professional photo of the front of the building, but it is complete now if you want to go take a look. It's a really nice facility. That takes us back to the land plan, and I know everyone's kind of wanting to hear a little bit more about what we have planned. So on the southeast corner, we had a 15-acre parcel sell to a large grocer as well. So unfortunately, due to confidentiality, I cannot disclose what grocer that is, but I can tell you it's going to be exciting for the community once they build that grocery store there. And what we're hoping to do, we've got some really nice kind of vision for what's going to happen kind of to the south of that grocer, and then also on the northeast corner there as well, out of the Groves. So exciting stuff going at the Groves. We're not done yet, and we'll hopefully be seeing the Glade at the Groves really kick off here soon. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Mike. I mean, it's just a couple of us here talking, man. You can't give any insights to what's going on?
Due to confidentiality, I can't disclose that, but I'm sure you can find out some way.
Okay. Well, being a community guy, I hear things. I'm not going to put them out here today, but maybe we can email a little bit later. I won't tell nobody.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Next, we're going to open the floor to Michelle Carnahan with Public Health, Harris County Public Health. She will provide us an update on COVID-19 impacts, trends, and additional vaccine information. Michelle, talk to us.
Thank you for having me. I'm one of the liaison officers in the response for COVID-19 here at Harris County Public Health. So I'm going to start with a little bit of an overview of what we have. As of yesterday, we had a total combined, this is the city of Houston and the Harris County cases. There were 344,102 cases. Of those, 21,796 are active and 319,036 are recovered. Unfortunately, there's 3,252 deaths in those numbers. And we were asked to look at the zip codes in your local communities. So the 5 zip codes were 77044, 77348, 77339, 77345, 346, and 77396. Each week, our data team identifies 10 zip codes of interest. This is based on the highest incidence rates. These are hotspots for the COVID-19 virus, and zip codes with testing deserts and other health inequities. And over the past several months, the only zip code that's popped up on that list as a hotspot was 77346, and that was in late January, early February of this year. And although the other zip codes may not have been identified as a hotspot, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be diligent and you're not safer from contracting the virus. So we all have to stay diligent. And then I think what's on everybody's mind is the vaccine. So the vaccine update that we have is Harris County Public Health is a safety net, which is meant to supplement the medical center, other primary care providers, pharmacies, etc. There's a huge demand and extremely limited supply nationwide, not just in Houston. We are currently offering the vaccine to individuals in phases 1A and 1B. 1A is including frontline workers and long-term care residents, and 1B includes 65 and older or 18 and older with high-risk conditions. The distribution by Harris County Public Health of the vaccine, initial doses administered, so this is shot 1, is 49,427. fully vaccinated in our area is 21,275. And we have 12,851 doses that were transferred to partners in the medical community. We have a wait list where you can register online at Vaxtrack, vacstrac.hctx.net, or you can call the call center and they can put you on the wait list at 832-927-8787. We encourage everyone in 1A and 1B to register for the wait list, and they will get called on a randomization process, but anyone can register to be on the wait list. And once the criteria for those individuals are selected, then they will be sent a link for an appointment when vaccine becomes available. The prioritization, it's a random selection for those in 1A and 1B, which is prioritized by age. Once you've been selected, the individual will be sent an email and a text message to schedule an appointment, and you must do so. Click on the link and schedule your appointment within 48 hours or you lose your spot. We encourage everyone getting seniors and others registered that if you don't have internet or email or text, you can call the vaccine call center, and that's at 832-927-8787. The call center has created a special email address if they don't have email, and they can call their landline and register from an appointment if they don't have email. And they will have them write down their QR code to present at the vaccine site, so they can do that manually if they write down the code. With our operations team, we have 4 mobile drive-through vaccination sites. We also have vaccine distribution units, or VDUs, and those teams vaccinate on site at places such as senior living facilities or homeless shelters. And then we have another FEMA mass vaccination site at NRG that's partners with the Department of State Health Services, the City of Houston, and Harris County Public Health. We had a soft opening this past Tuesday and officially opened yesterday at that location. The goal for NRG is to vaccinate 6,000 people a day over the next 6 weeks. And this is combining the City of Houston and the Harris County Public Health waiting list. And this process also prioritizes vulnerable populations in priority zip codes. These are high incident rates and high social vulnerability indexes. And again, they would get the link to register for that option. We have leveraged a lot and built a lot of community partnerships in a variety of ways. We go testing and have vaccination sites in the community. We have a COVID outreach team, and they go to schools, food distribution sites, libraries, grocery stores, flea markets, churches, restaurants, bakeries, apartment complexes, mobile home parks, senior facilities, WIC clinics, etc. They go everywhere, and they get information out and communications, and they have some kits that they bring with masks and other things. We also have a school health task force for school districts, and our key messages is, although we are seeing a slight decrease in the case numbers, we're still in the red zone on the threat level benchmark system, so we need to stay diligent. We also encourage everyone to continue wearing a mask, if possible 2 masks for better protection against variants. Wash your hands and avoid gathering with people that don't live in your household. Those are still our key messages. And even after people receive their 2nd dose of vaccine, they must continue to practice prevention measures to protect themselves and others, since there's not enough information on whether those vaccinated can still pass on the virus to others. And that's all I have for our report. We appreciate you letting us speak to you guys, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate you being able to kind of bring some of those data points down to the Lake Houston area, especially identifying 77346
Sure.
as an interesting zip code. That's my zip code, actually. If you could do me a favor, could you drop those contact phone numbers that you mentioned on the chat? There was a couple of requests,
Sure.
as well as the website.
Absolutely.
That could help folks out. And please give my best regards to your team up there, Elizabeth Perez and William Hudson. We date back a couple of years, but I appreciate all of their efforts and your attendance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have a great team.
All right, guys, coming up next, I know this was a hot item. Everybody's wondering what's going on with all the trees on 1960 being cut down. When can we expect the little traffic through Atascocita? So up next, we have Danny Perez and Philip Garland with TxDOT to update us on the 1960 expansion project.
See it
There you
now?
go. You got it.
All right, excellent, excellent, excellent. We apologize for that. So this is our 1960 project. We refer to as segment 1, and it's roughly about BF 1960A to Trigsworth. What we're doing there is it's a widening project. The current status of the project is we're acquiring the right-of-way that continues. We can continue to clear the right-of-way in addition to that, working with our utilities, doing a lot of work with our utility contractors. We're beginning work very soon on the project once we get closer. Once we get past the utilities and the right-of-way issues. This is segment 2, as you can see. Can you see that? Sorry about that. So it'll be 3 lanes in each direction. We're looking at doing the widening on both sides. We want to address the growth in the area. There's significant growth in the area. We have multiple projects, including our FM 2100 project. That's not too far from this particular project. So we have a lot of growth in the area we're trying to address. We want to make sure that we're continuing the progress on 1960 that we've done further west. For segment 2, it's east of Trigsworth Lane to west of San Jacinto River Bridge. The right-of-way acquisition is complete. Where the clearing of the right-of-way continues. Of course, the utility work continues. The contractor that we have selected is mobilized at the site and is scheduled to begin construction of the sound walls in the coming weeks. So that's going to be a really important movement in the project. There's phase we call phase 0. That's including the sound walls, utility work that we have continued with the particular project. Phase 0 is same with the utilities, sound wall building of the sound wall. Let me see. And that's what we have for that particular project. We'll have some more. At a later time, we can have some additional information regarding the additional phases. I was hoping Philip would be on because he could talk about the additional information. But we do ask folks if they have any issues with closures, any questions with project progress, they can call our office. They can call me. I can provide my number. It's 713-802-5077. We will not have a website for this project. We have hundreds of projects in the Houston district. And so typically for our major projects, our major highway projects, we'll have a website or we'll have a Twitter feed, but we're pushing information out on social media regarding this project. And if you're on Twitter, Facebook, on Instagram, you can follow us at TxDOT-Houston. So if it's Facebook, it's TxDOT-Houston, Instagram, TxDOT-Houston, and on Twitter, it's at TxDOT-Houston. So we'll push information out, any progress as we're moving forward with this particular project. For closures, we do ask folks to go to HoustonTranStar.org. Any closures related to this particular project will be posted at that on the HoustonTranStar.org website. But we also ask folks to let us know if you have any questions or any concerns during the project, to let us know. We work directly with our consultants and with the contractors to make sure we're minimizing impacts on the traveling public. That's really important throughout this process. So we wanted to open up to any questions. We do apologize for the technical difficulties. Do know Philip would has a lot more to add, but we can, if we don't have any issues, we can come back at a later time and give you an update. Certainly not a problem.
Thank you, Danny. I think we will hold you up to that. If you don't mind dropping your contact information and some of those websites on the chat, just so folks can have that accessible to them.
Absolutely.
Thank
We
you, sir.
don't have much time. We know that it's going to be a long-term project. We just ask folks to make sure to bring some patience, and also to know when they're driving through that area, it's an active construction, an active work zone, to slow down, make sure to reduce distractions, stay off the telephones, not drive aggressively. We've seen multiple issues when we've had on other projects where folks are driving aggressively because there might be a lane closure, some disruption. We just ask folks to make sure they're taking their time through there. It's going to be a long-term project. Obviously, see the length. It's two separate projects. So we want folks to be mindful when they're going through that area, to be mindful not only for the safety of the workers and the contract workers, but for their own safety as well, for their fellow motorists. So if anyone has any questions, I'll make sure I try to answer them really, really quick, if that's okay.
Thanks, Danny. We'll kind of toss you over to the chat. If folks have questions, we can address them there.
Sounds good.
If you don't mind, I believe if you could just stop sharing your screen so we can move forward with our presentation, I would appreciate it.
There we go. Is that good there?
Thank you, sir. We'd like to thank some of our Atascocita BizCom sponsors. HEB Atascocita. HEB in Atascocita is a valued sponsor of Partnership Lake Houston. HEB's top priority is taking care of Texas, and we are committed to help our fellow Texans in any situation our company and communities might face. With the recent severe winter weather, HEB Atascocita experience, we are asked all the communities to stay up to date with the latest store news at newsroom.heb.com. And remember, HEB will always be the last to close and the first to open. Next, we'd like to thank JLA Realty, Team Petrie, Amanda Petrie. Partnership Lake Houston is privileged to have JLA Realty. Team Petrie is a gold sponsor. Amanda has deep knowledge of this area, and her experiences of having lived here all of her life give her an enthusiasm and desire to make your home, her home, your home. Choosing to work with Team Petrie is choosing to accomplish your real estate goals and achieve the best outcome in every situation. Next, we'd like to thank McCord Development, Generation Park. The market at Redemption Square is happening this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please come join live music and a curated selected artisan vendors offering food, art, jewelry, and everything in between. In the mood for some Italian? Come try the Redemption Square's new restaurants, Boca Italiana Kitchen and Lupo Pizzeria. Next, Whataburger. Whataburger is another gold sponsor. We are honored to have their support. Whataburger not only provides great food dear to Texans, but also works hard to have a solid footprint in our community and continues to provide support for the partnership. Thank you, Whataburger. Go to Dr. Fagan. She's going to update us on the school district. And Dr. Fagan, thank you so much for your leadership. Great appreciation to your teachers and administrators for keeping us going. I love Humble ISD. Proud to be here. Look forward to hearing from your updates. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love Humble ISD too, and our staff are second to none. And they just keep showing that time and time again, whether it's Harvey, Imelda, or COVID or winter storms, whatever the case. So very proud of all of the staff in Humble ISD. Too long to mention everybody who pitched in last week because it truly was a team effort. But happy to be here. Going to share, I think. Let's see if I can share my screen here with you all. All right, here we go. I hope you can all see it, and we'll go from there. So there was a request for just an update about last week and the winter storm. The outcome of rolling blackouts that are rather long and linked in Humble ISD is that we had about half of our campuses impacted in one way or another by frozen pipes inside or outside the building. We had a few that had more damage than others, and my team and our partners with Blackman Mooring and others really stepped up to get these campuses ready for students. So this is the Atascocita Middle School choir room. You can see we had a broken pipe. We've removed all the flooring, the baseboards, and all of that work is underway. This is the other impact areas that are sort of more significant. Humble High School had a sprinkler head that froze and then came undone and shed a lot of water in a lot of classrooms. After a significant amount of work over a few days, the only rooms we had to sort of remove around were the dance hall, JROTC, and 6 classrooms in the freshman area. The rest of the classrooms were able to be used. Deerwood Elementary School, 2nd grade hallway, again, had to rip out the carpeting, and we'll be replacing their floor. And also the Board Business and Technology Center, or we affectionately call it the BBTC, had broken pipes, unfortunately, that sprayed everything in our technology area like a car wash. And so luckily we have redundant sites at the ISC and also a disaster recovery area. So we were good to go to move forward with school, but a lot of work underway at the BBTC restoring all of that. And then a big thanks to all the folks on the bottom, the police department who patrolled the campuses and also watched the security footage, alerted our maintenance staff who then went out and made emergency changes to keep those buildings from really going south. And then our child nutrition services staff who came in early and repurposed our menus so that we had all the food we needed to start school on Monday. So again, too many folks to mention. Today, I'm excited to bring you sort of a glimpse into what we call elementary pods. It's nothing special about the name, but the bottom line is that we've learned a lot in education in the last few years about the impact of motivation, inspiration, and engagement on elementary children, actually all children of all ages, on the learning process. We used to think that having fun and learning through play and enjoying learning was really pretty optional to the education process. We just needed to cover some things, and that was the core work of public education. And today we know that that's actually not exactly true, that motivation, inspiration, and engagement are central to the learning process, that they activate areas of the brain, they create neuron connections, and make the learning not only better, but more long-term. So instead of sort of that memorize, regurgitate, sort of dump mentality of the past, this is about really connecting parts of the brain together for long-term learning on concepts, skills, and knowledge. And so to that end, we have brought the idea that are often demonstrated in children's museums into our new elementary schools. And we absolutely hope that with our next bond, we'll be able to bring it into all of our elementary schools, because we have seen such tremendous positive impacts from these pods. So Centennial Elementary School opened this year, and they have these pods currently. I want to tell you that this year they have 0 discipline referrals. That means 0, not 1, because they see such a high level of enthusiasm, engagement, motivation. The children love it there. So here you're seeing an elementary pod design rendering for Lakeland Elementary School and our new Autumn Creek Elementary School that will be going in Fall Creek, is going in if you've seen it. And this is a space themed one. So again, taking concepts from children's museums, making them integral to the learning process, providing children with collaborative spaces that they enjoy learning in, but also spaces that inspire them and make them curious and question. We have built these pods around the TEKS, or the Texas Education Knowledge and Skills, that the state of Texas requires us to teach and also assess for all of our students. And so we have integrated those in these learning spaces. Here is a dinosaur themed one. And this is one of my personal favorites. This is an Arctic sort of approach where children sitting on ice cubes and overhead whales and seals, various things. So again, providing that inspiration. Now, these are actual photos of Centennial Elementary School today. They're not renderings. These are Humble ISD children. And in fact, at the board meeting on Tuesday night, we watched a wonderful video where the students and the teachers had testimonials about how much they love these spaces and the difference it's making in their learning. And one little kid says at the end, I'm like the luckiest kid in the world because I get to go here. And if you haven't seen it, you've got to go to our website, check it out. I saw that Jamie put it out on Twitter today also, but you can see these spaces. Here is the dinosaur one that really celebrates the history of Humble and Humble oil, talking about how all of these things connect. Here is the futuristic space pod. It's also in the video. The kids love it. They actually go into these sort of space stations and work together on various projects. It's very exciting time at Centennial Elementary School, and I'm thrilled that both Lakeland Elementary School and Autumn Creek Elementary School, both opening this fall, will have these sort of learning spaces also, and they'll be different. With that, you may know that even though North Belt Elementary School was not in the 2018 bond initially, COVID, the reduced construction costs, the reduced supply costs, has allowed us to come in under bid on nearly every single project we've done, to the point that we are going to be able to build North Belt Elementary School in this bond. And I'm thrilled about this for a lot of reasons. The current site for North Belt is just simply not very good and doesn't meet our needs anymore. So we purchased a new site. It's a beautiful 25-acre wooded site. We're intent on preserving as many of the trees as we can. You can see it right there at the corner of Bender and Old Humble Road. And in this campus, which here is a initial rendering of it, you'll see we're going to have this sort of lodge look with all of the trees. This is a repeat design like Lakeland, but it will have its own flavor, just as Lakeland and Autumn Creek both do. This is the interior of new North Belt Elementary School. It's a beautiful, calming space, invites the outside inside, and really makes it a wonderful place for kids to learn. And that's the goal here. Principal Christina Morris at North Belt Elementary School, when she met with the architect, she said, you know, some of my students never have the chance to travel outside of this Houston area, and some don't travel outside of Texas. And so I really think it'd be powerful if this school brought my children to places around the world, different ecosystems, different experiences, different, the Eiffel Tower, whatever, and really bringing this together. So the biomes will be the pod spaces at North Belt Elementary School. They will be designed around these concepts, and the 7th biome will be space. And integrated in these sort of biomes will also be unexpected elements, whether it's the Eiffel Tower or other things that are located in biomes, but you just don't think that initially. And so we're very excited about what's happening at North Belt. This will be an outdoor learning space. Again, we're intent on preserving trees, creating warm and welcoming outdoor spaces. COVID has encouraged us down that path, and our students and teachers have loved it. So now we want to be intentional in our designs. North Belt will also be our first ever campus to have virtual learning studios and spaces for teachers who do teach online children, so that they have the technology and the space to connect with those children in a way that's a lot different than when you have 25 seats in a classroom. So North Belt is going to take us to the next level in virtual learning, in outdoor learning, and in pod design. So I couldn't be more happy with the work that the team has done. You'll notice in all of our new facilities, we've used a new approach, and that is we have a construction team, and they're experts in chillers and PVC and all those kind of things. And we have an education end user team, and they're experts in learning. And so when you bring those things together, you create much more exciting spaces. You get far more for your dollars. You don't create institutions, you create wonderful places where children want to be. And we're very proud of the work that's happened there. So thank you everyone for your support of the 2018 bond. I believe we have maximized every single dollar. And we certainly enjoy the fact that we have so much community support in Humble ISD. We know this is a true partnership. We are here to support all of you, whether it's housing developments, business attractions, with providing the very best place for children to learn in the Houston area, if not the entire country. And you all give back to us tenfold. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. I love Humble ISD. What can I say? Thank you so much.
No problem.
Our next speaker is Brian Ruth, Senior Director of Land Development of McCord Development. Brian, Talk to us. Top 5 priorities of Partnership Lake Houston Transportation Committee.
Hey, Drew, thank you. I was going to quick couple things here. I wanted to catch everybody up on what the Transportation Committee has been working on in 2020, as well as talk about the top 5 transportation projects, priorities moving forward. I'm going to share my screen. In 2020, the Transportation Committee worked on putting this map together. I know it's very hard to see. I'm going to zoom in here in a second. And we identified projects in the region. Part of the reason is our region has 2 different counties, 4 separate county commissioners, the city of Humble, the city of Houston, Kingwood TERS, TxDOT, and the Generation Park Management District that I work with are all doing projects in this region. So we wanted to come up with a system here in GIS to track what projects were being done and in what time frame. I'm going to zoom in here on the legend so you can see that the green projects have been completed in the last 5 years. The yellow projects are in pre-construction or construction, the red are in study, and the blue are proposed. I have not updated this for 2021, so some of these projects are actually underway. Westlake Houston Parkway, this stretch is actually complete. Timber Forest has started construction, I believe, and I have it identified as study. So there's a lot of great regional connection occurring to the south along, this is Beltway 8 here. Apologize for not pointing that out initially. And this is 5969 corridor. As we move farther north in the region, this is the 1960. We just talked about that project that's underway. I'm going to zoom in, and then the red area here along 1960 is a study that's in process with TxDOT. So as we looked at and mapped out these different projects in the area, Woodland Hills, et cetera, that had created great connection, as a committee, we stepped back and looked at what other connections would really finish the needs within the region. I'm going to switch over here quickly. This is the major thoroughfare plan for the city of Houston. It's for the city of Houston and areas within their ETJ. The city of Humble is not shown in here. You see that's whited out. But this is a plan that's put forth by the city of Houston for the major roadways all across the city, but this is within our area. And you can see here Lake Houston Parkway. You see here that Woodland Hills is ultimately planned to be connected across the San Jacinto River as well. So in looking at the plans that the city has laid out and the projects that have been completed to date, we came up with a top 5 roadway priority projects in our committee, and those were approved by the Lake Houston Partnership Board. So the top 5 projects we identified as Sorters Road. Again, continuing that widening that's been done up in Montgomery County, continuing that down to the 59 corridor. Hamblin Road, modifying that tie-in point to 59 where there would be a signalized intersection for safety and creating a connection to Woodland Hills. Woodland Hills extension down to 1960, that would be new construction, and then a widening from 1960 down to Atascocita Road. That would make Woodland Hills 4 lanes all the way from Kingwood to Beltway 8. As we move up, we felt that it was important to have a connection here between Deerbrook Mall and Townsend Boulevard. And so we're studying that potential connection, both for the residents around here that are forced to use the mall as an exit, as well as emergency access, et cetera. And finally, our 5th project is we would like to see a direct connect from 1960 to 59. This is similar to what you see at the Woodlands off of 45. Currently, as many of you are aware, this 1960 backs up as folks are headed south onto 59, because not only do you have to negotiate the signals on 1960, but as well as some along the frontage road. And the same thing occurs in the evenings as people are heading back to the north and you take the 1960 exit, you have to sit through a light even prior to getting through to 1960. So we feel that a direct connect in this area would be extremely beneficial. These are, I need to point out that these are long-term projects. We recognize that they're going to take a large amount of funding as well. And so our goal is to get this on the radar, start talking with the right public officials and HGAC and others that could potentially fund these projects. So again, these are probably 5 to 10 plus year projects by the time we're talking about studies, plans, funding, and construction. I think that's all I had, Drew.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. You know, we sit on the transportation committee together, so thanks a lot. Look forward to working with you. Next, we're going to pitch it over to Jenna and Mark to give us the highlights of the merger. Jenna, Mark.
Hi, welcome everybody. We were told to make it quick, and I said, have you ever heard Mark and I speak before quickly? So we're going to do our best here. We just wanted to give a quick update. Things are going well and continue to progress with Partnership Lake Houston. Our staff's continuing to grow. We had Katie Haar join us as our marketing director in the fall. So she's old news by now. That was way back in the fall, but we did have a familiar face just join us. Allie Van Deventer Smart, for those of you that have been around for a while, has joined our team. She's running our programs now. She's behind the scenes right now running BizCom, probably pulling her hair out, but she's doing a great job. And then all the way from the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce in Peoria, Illinois, is Shernika Cagle, who brings many years of chamber experience to our staff, and she's our investor relations director. Shernika ironically left Illinois specifically because of the cold and snow to join us in warm and sunny Texas. So we jokingly blamed her for last week's weather event. I did want to touch really quick on our businesses. You know, last week was just a historical winter event for everyone, including our businesses. We've been in touch with our businesses in the community, trying to assess the damage and the impact that it had on them. We're getting those survey responses back, just some preliminary results. We asked them on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being minimal, you know, this to rate their severity of damage. The good news is that about 67% have said that their severity of damage was either a 1 or a 2. When it comes to what impact they had, most of the businesses were closed for 3 to 5 days. So they may not have sustained that physical damage. Several of them did, but many of them did not. But being closed 3 to 5 days for a business is not good. So about a third of our respondents are looking to get funding either through an SBA loan, a bank loan, or they're doing some type of private crowdsourcing funding mechanism to try to replenish those funds. So this is a great time to remind everybody to go and shop with small business. I know a lot of people are repairing their homes. I know a lot of people are having to buy flooring. They're having to go buy fixtures, drywall, repairs, furniture. Please paint. please go and shop local with our local small businesses because they really, really need your help. Many of them were closed all week last week. So they need that injection, and especially coming off of the pandemic, as we start to try to emerge from that pandemic, it's really, really important to keep those businesses in mind. I'm going to toss it over to Mark. That was my, was that micro man that used to speak really fast on commercials? That was my version. And Mark, try to beat my time with yours.
Go. I'm just going to cut to the chase. There's two things specifically. Jenna talked about the tragedy last week with the essential polar vortex that impacted all of us. Current administration did declare 77 counties in the state of Texas as a natural disaster. So there are disaster loans and economic injury loans available as we speak. We sent out an email on Monday with information contained in that email to help facilitate moving forward on that. And then secondly, on the PPP, the administration actually made some changes to current systems in terms of the PPP program, and two things pop out. One, there's been much more of an emphasis on companies with 10 employees or less securing PPP loans, and that's up nearly 60% in terms of that access point. And then yesterday, a 14-day period was instituted for employers with less than 20 employees to be given a priority in terms of access to funding. So those are really the two big things to be looking out for. I think we included that information in the email as well. If we didn't, just drop me an email or chat in the box and I'll get you that information sent out. But that's the big things that are going on right now.
And I know, Drew, I'm going to set you up real quick. I have our shirts for our race, and that's going to be the good toss over to Corey, because I know he's gonna talk about that, but we're excited about that. Corey, I'm teeing you up here.
Awesome, and I appreciate it. I'll keep the theme alive here with talking fast, but this is an event we're excited about. I want to make sure everyone's aware. So I'm very honored to be the chair for the Walk, Run, Discover Lake Houston event. Our team of local leaders has worked really hard to create a virtual experience and to convert what's been known as our Lake Houston 10K, 5K. The best part is we've made it possible for everyone to participate, regardless of how much you like to run. We still have our 5K, we still have our 10K, and we have our Primrose 1 mile kids run for fun. But today I'd like to share 3 things that we've added to this virtual experience. First, it's now a month long. So anytime from March 1st through the 31st, anyone can participate. That means once you sign up, you have the entire month to either walk or run. And we've also added something new, a 30 miles in 30 days challenge. And early on, we already have some families that are excited about doing that challenge together. So that's new in terms of the window to participate. We've also expanded this event to the entire Lake Houston area. And so we've outlined routes in Atascocita, Humble, Kingwood, and Summerwood to help people discover some of the hidden gems here in our local community. So you can select those routes from our website, or you can use a running app or drop a pin on Google Maps and participate anywhere in your neighborhood or throughout our community. And the third exciting change is we have added an option to support charities this year. We have 10 local charities in our community. They are each listed on our website, and participants have the opportunity to donate to each of those charities. I'm very excited to see early on some of those charities have already started to receive donations. And so none of this would be possible without the businesses in our community that step up. And so I'd like to thank TACUS for stepping up as our presenting sponsor, and Primrose Schools for stepping up as a sponsor for our 1 Mile Kids event. I also want to give a special shout out. I mentioned we have a great team of community leaders. Well, Shana Lopez of Waste Management is our Atascocita engagement chair. So those of you that know her, please give her a shout out and show her some love. She's really helped us make this event possible. So the only thing missing is your registration. You know, we're looking for families, community organizations, local businesses, churches, everyone to get on board with this unique event. You can do that today at walkrundiscoverlakehouston.com. And to guarantee you can get our really cool swag, we're asking everyone to register by March 1st. And so you can register throughout the entire month, but to guarantee you get our t-shirt, our medal, and the race bib, please do so by March 1st. Thanks, and back to you, Drew.
Thanks, Corey. Thank you, Jenna and Mark, for the quick comments. Once again, that wraps up our Atascocita BizCom. I'd like to give a final shout out to our sponsors, our presenting sponsor, Memorial Hermann Northeast, Rosewood Funeral Home, gold sponsors, HEB Atascocita, JLA Realty, Amanda Petrie's team, McCord Development, Generation Park, Whataburger, Humble. Silver sponsor, K&S Sportswear. Another final note, thank you to DNA Studios and Sam Schrade's team for allowing us and helping us with the virtual BizComs, luncheons, and meetings this year. Quick reminder, Summer Creek BizCom is March 18th, and the State of the Lake Houston Area Luncheon is scheduled for March 23rd. Please look up these events on our website at the Partnership Lake Houston. Last notes, just thank you for attending. I stand on the shoulder of giants. Thank you to all previous Atascocita BizCom chairs. I'm going to use this as a platform to build on what you guys started. Thank you to the partnership staff. I wish I can show you the controlled chaos that's going on back here, but we got through it. Sign off. Just make it the great day you deserve, and be well. Thank you.